Courier-Journal, a Kentucky newspaper, has a writer named Joseph Girth who wrote, and I quote, "My too early tribute to Mitch McConnell." And I'm not going to read the entire article, just the things that matter. I kind of chopped and screwed this, so please go to courierjournal.com to read this pre-obituary like I can. The writer says, with McConnell allegedly on the mend, I figured I'd go ahead and tell you what I think about him now when no one can complain. How dare you write that about a dead guy? Hunter S. Thompson's obituary for Richard Nixon was a masterclass in truth-telling. It painted Nixon as the detestable person he was. He nearly broke the government with his lies, sounds familiar, and his efforts to hold on to power at any cost. And McConnell is every bit the detestable figure that Nixon was. But unlike Nixon, McConnell never paid for his sins that have damaged our nation's trust in government, destroyed the country's ability to have meaningful dialogue, and cemented our nation's politics as an arena in which winning is the only thing that matters. In fact, for all of Nixon's flaws and crimes, he proved that the system worked as he was held accountable for what he had done. This isn't to say that everything McConnell did was bad. Not all bad, but what he'll be remembered for are two things that have done lasting damage to the country and its politics. First is his cynical and hypocritical manipulation of the U.S. Supreme Court. Confirmation processes that over a 4-year period shifted the court from a center-right body to a far-right body that overturned 60 years of case law on civil rights and nearly a century of law that empowered Congress to check a president's power. He had more guts as a young man than he had as an old man. It seems somehow fitting for the ultimate shapeshifter who wrote about accompanying Senator John Sherman Cooper to see Johnson sign the Voting Rights Act into law, that the court he created was the court that struck down the last remaining significant provision. As the court he built chipped away at the Voting Rights Act, McConnell cheered. And it's not just that he built this court, it's the hypocritical way he did it. McConnell blocked Barack Obama's appointment of Merrick Garland to replace Justice Scalia on the court in 2016, saying the American people should decide at the polls who got to make an appointment in the last year of an administration, he said. And then after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died in 2020, McConnell forced through the confirmation of Amy Coney Island Barrett just 8 days before Trump lost his re-election. In the process, McConnell destroyed the court's credibility with the American people. Nearly half of Americans believe the justices are making decisions based upon political ideology and not the rule of law. This is the America that McConnell has created. But his biggest failing may be his embrace of a president who he believes is stupid and who he believes led an attempt to overthrow the government on January 6, 2021, all to protect and increase his own political power. In the year after the attack on the Capitol, McConnell called it what it was. It was a violent insurrection for the purpose of trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a legitimate, certified election from one administration to the next, he said in 2022. And in the days following the attack, he said that Trump was practically and morally responsible for the insurrection. But he refused to vote to convict Trump on impeachment charges. All this is his fault. McConnell called Trump stupid as well as being ill-tempered, a despicable human being, and a narcissist, obviously while continuing to support the rotting orange. My term, not the writer of this beautiful work. Even when Trump said racist things about McConnell's wife, McConnell continued to bend his knee. And that is the legacy of Mitch McConnell. Bye.